Hey guys, James here with Rewind Electric. I just did a calibration on this electric Mistress and it's so easy. I'm going to do another one on this one right now with you. It's going to be a real quick video. All I'm using is this WaveTech signal generator here. You could probably use any signal generator. You just need a 200 hertz sine wave. And this scope here that has a frequency counter. But all you really need to do is measure peak to peak and then look at your waveform to do the bias. I could use this old one if I want to. This one's just handy. So I'm going to put the phone into the doodad and then we will do the thing. Okay, so these screws go with this one. Set that aside. Okay, I gotta fly. All right, I'm gonna call him Marty McFly. Okay, so first thing first is pop it open. All right. Now I've got 200 hertz coming in here. Oh, we're gonna go to the input. And I started it at about 1 volt peak to peak. And let's see, got some calibration instructions here. So for the first adjustment, we need to, we're gonna set the bias, which is right here. And we're just gonna make sure that the waveform, this is your bandwidth, that the waveform is not seated up too high or too low, but in the center, so that it clips evenly on both when it clips, even though we're not intending to clip it. All right, set the rate and color to minimum. Rate, color, minimum. That needs the pot tightened. And set the range to maximum. Okay. And filter matrix position in the matrix, which is no sweep. Okay. All right, that should be there. I don't really need to hear it, but we can. This is what it sounds like. It's just 200 hertz. All right. Okay. Ground the probe, and the test point is the third pin up. You can see these 2 rows of pins here. That's the IC. So 1, 2, 3 rows up. Now I'm not going to put it on the IC because it's very small and it's close to a lot of other things that I don't want to touch. So I'm going to follow the trace, and it goes over here, connects to this other IC pin, then comes all the way up here and connects to this stuff. And look, there's like a little leg of a resistor or something sticking out of the solder there. I can probably just hook this right on there and it'll stay, I bet. Okay, here's where I'm going to turn the amp off. Okay, this scope has an auto setup, so I'm just going to use that, and that's just going to kind of, let me test that. That's going to adjust things to roughly where I want them. And I still got to dial it in. Yeah, it was zoomed in really far. It was catching onto a harmonic rather than the fundamental. Whoop. Okay, so what I'm looking to do here now is get about 200 hertz, and it says it's 6.82 kilohertz. Oh, it's catching that fundamental, that harmonic. That's why. I think it's because my signal's too low, because I'm only at about 600 millivolts there. Let me take it up a bit. Okay, let's try that auto setup again. It's just faster. You don't have to do it that way. Yeah, there we go. And now that is, well, it's 2.34 volts peak to peak. And you can see the bias is all kinds of messed up because it's clipping on the top of the wave, but not the bottom. So I'm gonna bring my level down. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was really, that was clipping at, well, 1.14 volts peak to peak. So, I mean, that's okay, but let's make it better. Now, I'm adjusting this one, this blue trim pot right here. I'm gonna adjust that while we look at the screen, and I'm gonna try not to knock the probe off of here with my screwdriver. Okay. Now I should move that wave up and down And it does. See, it goes up and it clips. And I'm bringing it back down. And then it goes down and it clips. And I'm bringing it back up. So I'm trying to land it in the middle. But what I need to do is increase the amplitude. So I'm turning up my signal generator volume until that wave clips on one side or the other. Okay, see, it's clipping on the top first, but then the bottom. But that's okay. We just get it clipping a little bit. And now, what we're going to try and do is just adjust that trim pot until it's clipping evenly on both sides. See, more on the bottom there, more on the bottom there, more on the top there. So let's just try and center that. I know it's jumping around a little bit. It's because my frequency counter is analog. It's not as perfect as this scope might like. And I'm not syncing the clock to it. Okay, I think that's probably fairly good here. Let's see if I can lock in a little better. Nope, it still wants to jump. Okay. Now if I bring that down so that it's not clipping. Okay, so now it's just not clipping. I just brought the level of my signal generator down to the point where it's just not clipping. Maybe showing this on the analog. Now clipping on the top, clipping on the bottom. I just want to balance it right in the middle. I think that's it. So if I bring the amplitude up, does it start clipping at the same time on the tops of the peaks and the bottoms? Yes, it does. So we're done. And let's see. So the headroom, you could say, is 2.52 volts, 2.5 volts, peak to peak. That's pretty good. Okay. All right, let's go down here. I think that's actually higher than what the last one was. Can I get this in view? All right. Okay. Now we're coming off of, we're done measuring there, off of the bucket brigade. Now for the next measurement, it says remove the signal generator from the input. Okay, let's see. Set the rate to the mid position. Okay, rate right there. So, okay. So mid position on this knob is there. Weird as that is. Set the color and range to maximum. Set the mode switch to the flange position. Okay. Remove the input. Now it says remove the input. What it means is you can turn off your signal generator signal, but you do still need an input connected, a jack in here, so that the circuit's getting power. Because remember, if you unplug your input, you don't have power on this. So that instruction is a little bit unclear. Listen to the output or observe on a scope, adjust feedback trim pot right before oscillation starts. If the level of noise, droning sound at certain sweep positions is unacceptable, reduce the feedback a little more. Yeah, okay, so now we can listen. I hear some ticking. Is that it? Let's make sure it's on. Okay, there, now it's on. Now, I'm going to put my scope probe on the output so that we can hear it and see it. Okay. You notice when I get my hand near that, it starts making some noise. So I'm taking this up, and on the peak of that flanging, it's going to start going into oscillation and get squealy, like kind of in an alien way. And what I'm doing is I'm backing it down past that. I hear it getting close. Hear it there? So I'll go further just so you can. Okay, see, that's what it does, and you don't want to do that. I turn my amp down because I don't want to go deaf. There it is. So that was down quite a lot, and I liked it. So now this is setting it up to the factory specs. That doesn't mean that you can't take it down to taste. As I get my hand close, it wants to jump a little bit. Now let me show you on the scope that same adjustment. I'm going to turn the amp nearly off because I don't want to go deaf while I do this. But okay, on the scope now, there's the waveform. If I go into feedback, you'll see it get crazy. Okay, let me turn the amp down more. I want you to be able to see that well. Increase magnification. Okay. Now watch it go bonkers. You'll be able to see it. There it is. And you can hear the amp even though the amp is off. It gets crazy loud there. Let me back out. Okay, you can see the flanging happening there in the background. The little peaks get closer and further together. That's the comb filtering moving. Okay, that is the feedback. That's what you don't want. So you take it there, and then you take it back. But I'm going to use my ears to fine tune it and put it where I had it, because I can already see on the pot, and just from feeling where the screwdriver was, that's higher than I wanted it. Yeah, see, technically that's the spec using a scope, but I don't like that sound, so there we go. I'm going to keep it down there. All right, and that's it. We're done. This is for most versions, not a reissue, for version 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 with these 2 trim pots. The others have an additional clock setting, I believe, and then the deluxe electric Mistress is also different, so we'll get into that one next. In the meantime, here's these 2, both version 2s, but you'll see they are ever so slightly different. That's just how EHX was. I bet anyone that rolled off the line was ever so slightly different. So, there you are. Hope you enjoyed it. It's easy. You can do it yourself if you have the right tools. Take care. Bye.